गुड इवनिंग, गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड आफ्टरनून, जहां भी हैं, जहां से भी आप ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं. वी हैव अंकल शर्मा इन द हाउस, मैन. अंकल शर्मा, he is a Serie A, I can't wrap my head around that. Inter Milan fan from the UK. Big up to him, Uncle Sharma. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And Goloy is extremely grateful that you've come down to the show.
Yeah, no, nice to meet you and hello everyone. I was joking on my live reaction stream yesterday. I need to stop agreeing to do these these reactions because last few ones I've done, I did with the AC Milan fan before I agreed to it before the Milan derby, then we lost that one, and now this time with the Liverpool fan, and we lost this one. So I'm gonna stop agreeing to doing these. But no, it's good to be on, man.
But jokes apart, we had a conversation before the show, right? Like just exchange a few phrases about what um, Shivu might come up with, and you were expecting a high press,
Mm.
right? Just to warm the show up. Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, I feel like both teams were kind of. I mean, of course, you guys are going through a tough period, so you probably don't want to be going gung ho away at the San Siro, so that was understandable. But I think with Inter, maybe 3 days before, we had a very intense match against Como where we won 4-0, but we pressed those guys like animals for a lot of the game. So I feel like maybe the lack of energy, and Kivu went with the same lineup, which I was kind of disappointed with. Same players. He mentioned himself that it's going to be hard to keep the same energy levels 3 days after the game, and then it decided to do the same lineup. So I think that combination of those factors happened, and I think we gave Liverpool a little bit too much respect as well. I think you guys were there for the taking. I feel like we played you guys as a peak Liverpool team that we we would play you guys last year or 2 years ago. Whereas I think we should have been, a little bit more aggressive, a bit more offensive, because I think you guys showed chinks in the armor again yesterday. So yeah, Interisti, I think we are kind of disappointed with our approach. Not that the two substitutions made it easy either. The 10th minute Hakan went off, and 30th minute Acerbi. Basically our spine of the
Unfortunate,
team.
and that was really bad. We felt really bad. I was doing the watch along with Nidhi. Yeah, it was unfortunate, and weird that they pulled their hammies at the wrong time. I felt again match congestion, and then you've been playing too many fixtures altogether. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that also we couldn't make the substitution in the second half until I was criticizing Kivu later, but someone explained to me because then we lost 2 slots because of those substitutions. So then he couldn't make a substitution at like the 50th, 60th minute, because otherwise then he wouldn't have any other substitution left. So then we had to wait until the 80th minute to take out guys like Taram, what a stinker, and I think Mkhitaryan was showing his age at some point. So yeah.
Yeah, guys, be patient and stay with us. I have a load of questions that I want to ask Sharmaji, right? I hope Sharmaji is fine because Uncle doesn't suit you, man.
I mean, Sharmaji is also, I guess, a roundabout way of calling someone an uncle.
Yeah, facts. But I was relatively surprised, to be honest, as a Liverpool fan. I think this is one of the most harrowing, dreadful times that we've been going through as a fan base. The fan base remains divided. I don't really want to get into it again. I think I've had 3 days of trauma from talking about Mo Salah and on his thought. But yeah, I think a few words from you in the end will be nice. Um, yeah, so as a Liverpool fan, just on the road, going to San Siro was never going to be easy. In fact, we thought you guys were the clear favorites, and I do think to a certain extent that your team had individuals when I saw the game again who just seemed a bit nervous, and you'd be surprised when I talk about Bastoni in the same breath. I thought Bastoni on the ball seemed a bit too nervous, too indecisive. He was taking extra touches at times. And I thought you guys basically played to the best of our interests and not yours. You could have actually won the game the way you played. You had more activity happening in the final third, more creative link up near the final third. Liverpool had their moments, but I still thought like Inter Milan should have created more in this game, looking at the state of play.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big frustration with the that we've had yesterday was, yeah, you mentioned Bastoni, but I think all of our big players yesterday, we would get into the final third and Barella decides to, he was in the box, decides to back heel it to someone rather than shoot to Ram as well, like the decision making in the final third. So it won't show on the XG chart or the shot chart because in the end, Inter wasted so many opportunities to get a shot or create something in the final third, like you said. So it won't show on the stat sheet. And I think in terms of actual chances, I think narrowly you guys were better. I think you actually guys had the Connor Bradley chance. That was probably the only 1v1 kind of chance in the whole game, big
Yeah.
chance. But apart from
Yeah,
that,
I
it was
think the keeper made himself big, and there
Mm.
was no chance that we were gonna get anything out of it. But still,
Yeah.
XG is measured as such. I think XGOT is more valuable than XG because it's easy to generate XG from that angle, but the quality of shot is what should be judged. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I agree with that, man. I also think that Inter. I saw your game against Atletico, and the way you managed that game in a way, even that game, your link up was grave. In fact, you wiped the defense out on a couple of occasions, but the final punch was missing. The execution was lacking, and I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, but I have been. I think Bonnie deserves a start over Thuram. I don't know why. The games that I've seen him play, I think he's been tremendous, and he's been really good. He's been sharp. Um, Even though he doesn't really become the main man, like you see strikers like Holland or um, you know Raul Jimenez, they like being the main men. Like he wants Lautaro to take the limelight, but at the same time, he does the hard work, the link up, the layoffs. Yeah,
Yeah, no, the Turam was out for like a month, few weeks back, so he's still like coming back to fitness. So yeah, that that would be something I would say as well. He's not really come back into great form, and he started against Como. So yeah, that's another one of those decisions where I felt like yeah, Boni or Esposito, when one of our younger strikers as well, I feel like could have been suited to yesterday's game. Yeah, Boni is very technical, very good on the ball, very good at hold up. I think that could have been the decision. That I agree.
yeah. What do you think about Zielinski coming in? I think he's one of your main runners in the team. Not necessarily a controller, but then Çalhanoğlu went down, unfortunately. And yeah,
Yeah.
what do you feel about his impact, his presence on the pitch?
Yeah, no, losing Hakan was big loss in the first 10 minutes because, yeah, he's like the heartbeat of the team. So that was a big loss. And then Zielinski comes in, which is, he doesn't really like playing CDM. So he says it himself a few times. And even Chivu joked about it that he just needs to convince himself he can play there. But he was good. I feel like he was one of the most positive players. He had some nice moments like that nutmeg he had on McAllister. He's just a really classy player. I know that he was close to joining Liverpool like many, many, many years ago, and I think Klopp really used to like him. Only this season really he
Yeah.
started to pick up form for Inter. Last season he was quite disappointing. We got him on a free from Napoli.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he was one of the most positive players. I think he was better than Barella and Mkhitaryan.
Mm. Yeah, no, I thought Nico Barella was quite good, to be honest, especially in the second half. I think I came on his chat and I spoke about the line breaking passes and whatnot. I think Barella had, I think all of them were quite fluidic with their movement. They were shifting quite a bit. And I think that could have worked against Liverpool, but we were hell bent on defending. I think we knew that we need to get the basics right against Inter Milan. And I think tracking your runners is the main key to beating Serie A teams. I feel like even DeMarco and Bastoni were like playing in that left mid position. I saw DeMarco getting into those half spaces on so many occasions. What I've seen in the Serie A games, I don't think you could replicate the same level of intensity and the volume of servicing in this game. And I think Gravenberch was immense. I think Gravenberch did the job. He was quite good with the
Yeah.
turnovers, with the interceptions. Szoboszlai not so involved in the first half, and in the second, yeah, he was pretty much there. But then McAllister's one guy who's been shadowed again, I think. But I saw the game again, and I think he's done some tremendous work too up front. Um, but I'm just like surprised at this because when I was doing the preview, so many Liverpool fan creators came to me and they're like, you know what, Lautaro Martinez scored 8 goals in 5 games, and he's the one to be you should be watching out for. And don't take me wrong, yeah, the big games that I've seen, Inter versus Barcelona or the Champions League campaign, the World Cup, I don't see him. Do you get where I'm coming from? I don't see him laying a big impact. I see him getting into a physical tussle and then losing the ball. Like you don't get to see him. Like in yesterday's game, I thought he was really immense, coming deeper and laying the ball off and having good touches. Like he was good in the build-ups in the first half specifically, but like the other matches, I haven't seen a lot of him. And that's where my PL bias comes out, and I'm like, I don't rate this guy.
No. Yeah, I get it. It's he doesn't have those characteristics that make him stand out. That's the issue with Lautaro. He's like, he doesn't have the pace, he doesn't have the dribbling ability, he doesn't have anything, crazy attributes wise. He's small, he's stocky. So yeah, he's super hard worker. So that's the thing with Inter fans. He's the captain now as well, so we can never really criticize him too much because he always puts his body on the line. Like yesterday, he almost, if he didn't pull his legs back, that could have been a red card on Robertson, that challenge
Yeah.
he did him. But yeah, for that, he's like Osimhen. Him and Osimhen, I feel like they're the two best pressing strikers I think around when it comes to off the ball work. But yeah, Lautaro on these, especially when he's facing up against super athletic centre backs like Van Dijk and Konaté, it's not really a good matchup for him. So that's where we need. This is the night where we're more critical of Thuram. This is the night for Thuram, and he was really, really disappointing yesterday.
Yeah, I think they should have actually played a one-on-one with Lautaro because he was doing the deep work, but then he couldn't. He basically wasn't serviced enough,
Yeah,
right? Like I can relate it to Rasmus Højlund. Do you rate Højlund, by the way?
no, we
No.
were linked with him in the summer. I didn't like him
Yeah,
at Atalanta, and yeah,
but he,
I
he
know he
had
got a
quite
few goals,
a
but I don't really rate him.
he had an illustrious career with Serie A, Atalanta, right? He was quite good over there, and even
I
Napoli.
would
He's
call it illustrious. He had a nice 6 months where he got like, I think, 8-9 goals, and Man United
yeah,
decided to pay 70 million. So.
yeah, but I don't know. I'm laughing because United and Rasmus was quite a romanticized tale out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, Serie A fans, like, we were like, what the? Why are these guys paying 70 million for this guy? It's like, what is going on?
Charles is like Liverpool have beaten Arsenal, Madrid, and Inter without conceding a single goal this season. They have also lost to Brentford, Forest, and PSV by a combined goal score of 10-3. This is
So
insane,
basically, you're
right?
the opposite of Inter. Inter, we've lost every single big game this season, but we beat
Yes.
all the small teams.
That's what, right? Atletico, Napoli, Milan,
Yeah,
who
Juve.
else? Juve.
Yeah,
And that's the thing because I've seen you playing better football than what you did with Inzaghi, but then at the same time you're not able to get across the big fixtures.
yeah.
Like this is what the main test is all about, right?
Mhm.
Um, Defensively, are you actually happy that your team, the club, has had players who've been knowing each other since the longest, or do you think you need more competition for these positions for because they've been together for the longest, and maybe a bit of variety would induce more um, competitiveness, or some transfers that you've been looking into, maybe.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of Inter fans now, we're kind of tired of seeing the same guys. It's nice to have, obviously, we have this core of guys that like Barella, Bastoni, Lautaro. These guys have been here basically since like Conte era, or some even, Lautaro's been here since Spalletti era, like for 6, 7, 8 years now. That's
Hmm.
nice to have because it's quite rare in modern football to have that. But we do, I think, especially after last season, it was a very heartbreaking season because we went to the last of the Champions League in the Coppa, in the Cup, Super Cup in Italy, and the Serie A right into the last day, and we won nothing. And after that Champions League final, every Inter fan is like, yeah, even Barella, even Bastoni, even like our top guys, we just need to start afresh. We need fresh motivation, some fresh faces, younger, hungrier people. We're all ready to like have the revolution, and I I guess they didn't want to do a revolution because it's expensive, but it is time for a revolution, even though we might have to suffer maybe a year or 2 years, or you may even end up what Juve are now, which is struggling to get back into even top four. But at
Yeah,
some point, they need to cut the band-aid off, as they say.
yeah. Financial constraints as well. I think one of the reasons why
Yeah,
you're not able to
of
do it.
course. Yeah, yeah,
And you've been acclimatized to that environment. To be honest, I mean,
yeah,
I can't relate to you, but at the same time, I do relate to you in a way. Looking at
yeah.
the way,
I don't want to hear nothing from you after this summer.
looking at the way City. To be honest, look. I get it. We got in Wit, we got in Isak, but if you look at it, we've signed some really great players, great talent, but they're not fitting the system. So what do you do in that case? You need more transfers. You go in, put in, you slash £500,000, and you bring in more people. But yeah, I just felt yesterday's game was not an eye opener, but I still felt tactically we didn't do anything special. Arne Slot, I think one of the worst fixtures for him to prove a point with the amount of pressure that he's been receiving from the media, the constant questions about Mo Salah, the consistency in, there's been a consistency, there's been a pattern, a comparison of his tenure in the Premier League vis-a-vis what Jurgen Klopp has done for Liverpool. From the very first day he's come to the club, they've been asking him the same questions over and over again. You think you can do what Jurgen has done, right? So these, trust me, I don't think any other manager has gone through a scrutiny of this sort in the recent history that he has. And yeah, he might be a bit arrogant, Dutch culture, whatnot. People have been talking about that too. Even yesterday, I don't know if you've seen that Amazon Prime interview with Seedorf and
yeah, seen it.
what? Yeah. So yeah, in the end, he's like, you know what? Seedorf was like, you're the leadership. You're supposed to open up to a player if he's disgruntled or he's not in the right headspace. And um, but he's like, yeah, that's your opinion. That's it. so
Yeah,
so I get where he's coming from. Mo Salah is a big legend of the club, but this is what I feel too, right? No player, be it Ronaldo, Messi, Pele, anyone can be bigger than the club. The reason why we love the sport is because we love the club.
yeah,
And the club is not just the players, it's the ecosystem, the stakeholders, ownership, leadership, and the players too, of course. But um, yeah, getting back to the game, defensively, Van Dijk, Konate, you know they've been on the edge this season, and I was relatively surprised to know that Konate um, held Martinez and Thuram at bay. Basically, they did not stir any trouble
yeah,
near our final third. And that one chance, that half chance, which Martinez had with that header, I thought that was about to go in, to be honest. And towards the end, too, like the injury time, you guys had an opportunity. The brilliant cross was supplied in the ball, and then he took half a turn. I thought he should have put it in, even though it was difficult. I think it was Lautaro who had the ball. I
mm,
can show you the slides. Um, yeah, so you had a couple of good chances, and I thought even in the post presser, like they were talking about Liverpool being defensively mature, turning up big. I get it with the result for sure, but again, I spoke about tactics. I did think Liverpool had so many weaknesses, especially with the outlets. Playing a 4-4-2 diamond worked to a certain extent, but then for that, you need fullbacks who are going to be fluidic, who are going to be supplying the ball consistently. But I thought Joe Gomez was a problem for Liverpool in the first half.
mm,
Um, went toe to toe with Bastoni, DeMarco. I think relatively it was an easy night for DeMarco defensively.
yeah,
Um, crossed the ball a couple of times, and then yeah, so it was just basically we this is what we were really flat, and Joe Gomez wasn't the answer. I was happy with the substitutions he made with Conor Bradley, with Florian Wirtz. I think they reignited the game in a way, brought more control on our end. But yeah, अब लिवरपूल सब जीत जाएगा. कितना सोचते हो Liverpool fans? I expected more from Demarco. But yeah, what do you feel about Demarco and Bastoni and the back line, Acerbi going down, and the right back. I think the right back, I saw him closely, the number 11, I think Henrique. I saw him really closely, and I thought he was getting into some really good vital positions. Um, and he looked good to me in certain phases, but then I just thought he wasn't doing enough. I think we had similar problems. We had a problem with Joe Gomez. Henrique was a problem for you. Cutting back and recycling the ball, horizontal passes, just kept on relaying it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, like I said, all our big players I feel like didn't step up yesterday. So Dimarco as well was one of those guys. I think I looked at the stats on my live stream last night. If I remember, it was 0 out of 8 crosses he completed. So he got not even one accurate
Yeah.
cross out of 8. So we were spamming the ball at some points, but it wasn't going anywhere. The set pieces as well. I don't think usually we're quite threatening off set pieces, and usually it's Dimarco or Hakan taking the set pieces, and I don't remember any threatening set piece off memory. So yeah, disappointing because we expect a lot from that left foot. He's not blessed physically, athletically, Dimarco, but he has got a top class left foot, and he didn't really deliver yesterday. And Enrique, yeah, he only had his first good game against Como the other day,
Yeah.
so he was basically like our flop of the summer transfer until now. So he needs more time, but I expect a lot more from him because yeah, he's very comfortable on the ball. So as you said, on the ball, you would want to see much more threatening, at least ideas. So he was very safe with his passing yesterday.
What do you think about Carlos Augusto? He started the last game, I think, against Atletico. He was the one who started. Preference, Augusto or Henrique?
Or definitely Luis Enrique, or like he's actually a right wing, but Carlos Augusto's left-footed, so we're only doing it because Dumfries is injured at the moment.
Yeah.
So and yeah, so that showed how bad of a signing Luis Enrique has been until now, because we've even had to play Carlos Augusto on the right as a left-footer. But yeah, I prefer Luis Enrique playing than Carlos Augusto on the right for sure.
Yeah. I did think that we did have a couple of good sequences. Build up phase, second phase of build up, we were able to get past your midline quite easily to a certain extent in the first half and the second. This is one snippet. Curtis Jones had the ball. He gave it to Gravenberch in these spaces, and then yeah, I think this is Mkhitaryan.
Yeah.
And then the next slide, you see that. So they were these passes were made from extremely narrow angles. You can't really make it out in the pictures, but this is what really happened in the slide. And then Joe Gomez at the center of things, about to cross the ball again, and this went really wide. And I think your keeper safely, um, yeah, he kept us silent consistently. I think
Sommer, yeah.
Sommer, I think he was tremendous. I think he was good. I don't think it was a game of the keepers, but mostly
No.
defensive. Yeah, it was mostly the defenses. And here again, I think Bastoni in the third minute. This was pretty early on, right? I thought Inter had some sort of momentum too initially in the first, from the third to the 7th minute. I thought you had the ball and then Inter would do something similar to what you did from the 35th to the 45th minute. Like the last 10 minutes before the break, I thought you guys could score a goal too. A lot of activity around the final third. And in this sequence, you see a Bastoni, right? Demarco, I think this is Çalhanoğlu? No. Yeah.
Mkhitaryan.
Mkhitaryan, yeah. Thuram. So the setup was right. I thought the idea was there, right? Mkhitaryan, then I think he's going to do a 1v1 with Demarco, which he did. This is a training ground regimen where I thought that, Martinez is going to hold up and then he's going to release DeMarco, because DeMarco made a run. He made a run in that space. But unfortunately, he played it back to Barella. And I thought that that risk factor, the cutthroat nature of how European giants are supposed to play was lacking in this game specifically from Inter's end. I thought that should have been a key observation. Which should have actually led to more servicing, like I spoke about it. But even Chivu, I thought he made a good tweak towards the end of the first half. He pushed one man, one defender up front. That really disturbed our rhythm in the game. Any thoughts? Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think usually it's Bastoni who's given that license to go up. That usually always causes problems for the other team. But as you said, our final ball just wasn't quite right when Bastoni was getting into those half spaces. The delivery wasn't quite what we normally expect of Bastoni. By the way, what's this software called? It's quite good.
This is JLA's software, so I paid for it. It's not that
Oh,
expensive.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
James Lawrence Orcott.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
This is what he
I see.
exactly uses. Not that
Nice.
expensive. I think 5-6 quid a month.
Not too bad.
Yeah, yeah. Hakan would honestly be in a top three CDM debate for the past 5 years if he played in the PL or a club with more social presence. A bit of more mobility, he would be like Zubimendi exactly.
Yeah, but he's got like the ball strike. He's probably like I think in terms of stats, even before he came to Inter, I think he has the most goals scored from outside of the box in the European leagues. So he's got that
Yeah.
factor. But as a defensive midfielder, sometimes yeah, he's not fully switched on because that's not yeah, he's been converted into that deep role. He used to be an attacking player.
Hmm.
But yeah, I agree with that comment that, of course, because we're playing Serie A, he doesn't get the shine.
Yeah. No, I do see. The thing is, I think your unit is Inter Milan have always been a giant and they always will be. The only
Mm,
thing is, you guys need more players to be pushing them. I feel like we've been seeing these Hakan and then Barella since the longest with Inter,
yeah.
and I just feel like it just gets a bit stale. It gets a bit
Mm,
dry at times.
yeah,
That's
true,
all I
true.
feel.
Yeah.
Right. Um, yeah, this is a tackle which I thought that was some insane pressing. I think Martinez was fiery. He was aggressive at all times during the game. Got a yellow for this.
Yeah.
And then yeah, this is another build-up play where Curtis he supplied a beautiful ball to McAllister, which Liverpool fans again slot out. People did not really acknowledge it. McAllister is right here, and then you have a Szoboszlai making a run in these spaces. Um, so yeah, I mean, there was a lot of pressure. See, Akanji, one more guy from City. Are you happy with this signing?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He was the doubt for yesterday's game, and I think he was one of our best players. So I'm glad he made it. A very good signing.
Hmm. He's a loanee, right? Or no?
Yeah,
You?
Loney, but
Yeah.
apparently we're gonna take up the option. It's like 15 million euros.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good deal for you. Plus, one more trade I've noticed about this defensive line. I think you have ball playing centre backs extremely comfortable on the ball,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
I saw them stepping on the high line, and I'm like, this is it. Now they're gonna link up, but again, horizontal passes. That's it. Kept at it. Lost the ball quite a bit, and even some of the passes, which should have gone in the right spaces, Inter kept losing it. So I thought again, the better side, it could have been easily you. The best time to beat us.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, it turned out to be the other way around. This was again refereeing was one thing which I was really pissed off about. See, big up to Thuram, but at the same time, so if you see this in motion, he doesn't hit him at all. Like literally,
no.
it's just like he scrapes past his
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right. So such decisions, extremely soft decisions, which went against Inter, against Liverpool, and then there was a lot of stoppage during the game too.
Oh my
I
god, this
felt
stopped for like 7 minutes, I think.
yeah for 7 minutes, and it wasn't just for that penalty shout or for the disallowed goal that Konate had. It was also for small moments where like soft tackles or something which could have been avoided in my opinion in the first half
Mm.
too. Like literally like 10 to 12 minutes of play was disturbed. The momentum obviously is going to get affected, and then the game looked a bit stale to me too because of
Yeah,
that.
no,
What do you
no.
think about this disallowed goal, the handball, like as per the rule book?
That's the thing. I don't know what the rule book is because I was on because I'm in the UK, so I was listening to the Amazon Prime. They had Mark Clattenburg, the former referee, on there. So he was saying that because it was from Van Dijk's header onto his arm, that it should have been allowed. But I don't know. I thought any lead up to any handball leading up to a goal should be
Hmm.
disallowed. So I actually don't know what the correct rule is for this.
Yeah, I thought it was slightly above the elbow. Um, yeah, could have been given and could have not been given. Could have been either or. But it hit Van Dijk's header, and then I think it hit Van Dijk's header first, and then it hit his arm. Um, but yeah, I, to be honest, said this on the live that this could have been avoided and disallowed. To be honest, because it seemed like in Champions League, especially European competitions, the moment the ball touches the hand, they basically rule it out. So I
Yeah.
think to keep it fair, to keep things fair, I thought this was the right decision. Um, and then I made a couple of observations, even with your build up. Akanji at the center of things again. Barella, very free. He was all over the pitch. Um, who's this guy, man? Is it Zielinski?
Lautaro.
Yeah, Lautaro. DeMarco and Thuram, and then you had a Henriques. So this is the first phase of build up, and then um, the moment Bisek came on, there was this one moment,
Yeah,
heroic,
that was nice. Yeah.
yeah, really heroic. And then he see this is what Liverpool is all about. Yeah, the season we've been so open in the midfield. Look at them, right? Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, he's chasing him. McAllister, Isak, bro, look at this. Like I don't, I'm not able to wrap my head around this. Like this is extremely shocking to watch. Um, yeah, and then he made like dropped the shoulder and then he shifted the ball to the left, and that skill was amazing to be honest. Um, yeah, look at this, beautiful.
There was a shout for handball I seen in the post. Some Inter fans posted that Van Dijk handball there on that shot.
Yes, but they didn't show it on camera. They
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
show it on the television. I don't know why. And I thought that was a handball.
Yeah, I didn't see it yet on live because I was like, if they didn't show it, you just assume that they must have checked it, so it was fine. But it's in the in the screenshot, it looked pretty outstretched the arm for the position. But yeah, anyway, I'm not here to cry about that.
And I think that should have been a penalty, to be honest. I saw it too. But yeah, it's weird they didn't show the coverage for that. They should have. Um, on some stations, like the Indian station, Sony Live, they did show it. But
Oh, okay.
I use Dazan. I don't know if you use Dazan or what.
No, I watched it on Amazon Prime yesterday.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so on that they did show this. Yeah, so this was again an individual effort which led to nothing, but again, moments of heroism. And then this is one attacking sequence where I thought again Liverpool had the more activity, but again it seemed stale to me, barring this one where Isak makes a run um, in these spaces, and you have a Robertson who's going to come overlap. What happens next is Isak gets the ball and then he supplies it to Robertson, who's about to take a cross, and he delivers this across. Tries to find McAllister. Again, tactically, you should have at least a striker in the box. You had two strikers, but there was none. Ekitike missing. Isak again. I understand he's the guy who supplied the ball to Robertson, and then Bastoni, where it seemed amusing to me to watch him the way he cleared it. Could have gone either way. Could have
Yeah.
gone inside the goal. Could have So it could have been an own goal too. But yeah, I thought it was a much needed interception. Otherwise, McAllister was clear in this situation too. Um, yeah, then enter second half. This is the moment they seemed a bit too frantic to me. And of course, you had to rush in, and that strategy did work to a certain extent. You can see that Barella again, Thuram. Sorry, I don't
I
Bisek.
think
No,
Bonnie's come on by then,
Bonnie.
maybe.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bonnie.
Be
And this
six
is
up.
Bisek, and then you have who's the number 8?
Ucic, a young Croatian
Yeah,
guy.
yes,
Zelensky. Yeah.
Zelensky, and then Bastoni. So yeah, next sequence you see he plays the ball to Lautaro,
Mm.
and he retrieves it comfortably. I can say that we know he's really crafted, and then he takes a turn, and then he takes a shot, but then it's
Oh, this
basically
is
the
the one
shot.
you were saying. Yeah.
Yes, the shot ends um, again the far post, but quite wide. And yeah, Alisson was. I don't think Alisson was bothered by barring that one header throughout the game. But
Yeah.
Inter had their moments. The narrative would have been completely different if the scoreline would have been different. You know, a draw would have put Arne Slot under uh, the radar. Like he's not the right manager for the club. He hasn't done enough for the club. Does Chivu escape these conversations? Is he still regarded as someone who's going to give you again get you glory like the old days, or
Well, the thing is, he was quite controversial pick in the first sense. Like he wasn't even. If you asked me in the summer, who are your top 5 managers to replace Inzaghi? He wasn't even in my I wasn't even thinking about Kivu because he just literally had 13 games at Parma. Like really, we're talking about a rookie manager.
yeah,
Not even maybe in my top 10. That's how far like the pick was from Inter to recruit Kivu. So our expectations for him are quite low, to be honest, because what can you expect from a guy that hasn't got the experience, and he's come into basically the same team as last year, which is still good. Like I think we're still going to be challenging for Serie A and doing decent in Champions League, but it's kind of, I don't think any Interisti is really realistically expecting him to like deliver trophies this season.
yeah. 25 people in the house. Just gonna give a shout out to Uncle Sharma. 30 people in the house, so please do like his content, go to his videos, like them. He's given the match reaction, which I thought was beautiful. Subscribe to his channel if you're new to his domain.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, missed the game. Was Curtis really that good? Because I'm hearing prime Thiago level shouts. Not really.
I thought Gravenberch, I thought was the impressive one.
Yeah, yeah. Same. I thought again he got shadowed because of the progression which Curtis was providing. Yeah, for sure. He had more progressive passes and whatnot. But Gravenberch was the main guy. He was the guy who disrupted Inter's build-ups, and that's what I'm really grateful for. I thought he stuck his guns deeper. He knew that Inter was gonna stir something in the middle. Barella, you can never write these guys off, man. They're really good. Um, but again, I thought the tactically, I thought onslaught wasn't that bad either. I thought a 4-4-2 diamond suited us because we were able to that the resilience came from that passiveness and you know from bombing forward too. Of course, the flank activity on the flanks was abysmal for both the sides, but I still thought that our midfield, was able to control the situation better than what yours could. And maybe
Yeah.
a tweak in formation using 4 midfielders could have worked for you as well. I know you don't go with that. 3-5-2 is what
We
you.
never tweak formation. It's been 3-5-2 for like 6 years without any changes.
Yeah, so you've been accustomed to this, the back three, which
Yeah.
even United fans are getting into, by the way. Do you think it works different in the Premier League than in Serie A?
Well, the thing in Serie A is half the teams in Serie A play 3-5-2 or a variation of it. So it's
Yeah,
like it's almost become the lazy formation for managers in Serie A because it's like gives you more defenders at the back, and I guess it's also cheap formation because wingers are expensive and wing backs you can either convert wingers or just have fullbacks turn into wing backs. So it's a cheap formation for broke Serie A teams.
yeah.
So yeah, I think in Premier League, I don't think it really works as much.
Um, Final thoughts, parting thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Liverpool. You have to give credit. I don't want to say that. I think the draw was the right result, but Liverpool showed tenacity. They bounced back from a difficult period. But I'm worried about this Inter team now because now the trend, like we said, in big games is a worrying trend for us. Every single big game, we kind of can count Roma. We won against Roma because they were top of the league at that time, so I guess we can count as a big game. But I'm worried that this team is now just I don't know, mentally too fragile from last year now, and they can't
Yeah.
recover. So yeah, very worrying times.
Um, Man of the match performance from your end. One footballer in your team who you thought was he made the efforts, he did everything, but yeah,
I'll give it to maybe Akanji or Zielinski. I felt like Akanji was he was really good defensively and going forward a few times. But I'll give it to Zielinski. I felt like he was the one trying to make things happen.
yeah. You think two finales in the last 3 European competitions? You think you have hope for the knockouts this time?
Knockouts, yeah, but I don't. It's almost I don't want to go that far, to be honest. I'll be real. Like I'm kind of over the Champions League now. I don't want
Yeah.
any more heartbreak. Please, just give me like round of 16, quarterfinals, get the extra money in. I'm good with that, because in Serie A it's like I know Napoli Conte's gonna drop out of the Champions League. We know that for sure. So he's gonna have one game a week. Milan already have one game a week because they're not in Europe. So we need that. Anything we can get, extra rest we can get to for Serie A, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, and yeah, even their expectations are to win the league and not the Champions League again. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's the standard you've set for yourself. Uh, and yeah, I did promise everyone that we'll have your thoughts on the Salah and the slot situation. So before we head out, yeah, कुछ चंद बातें आप अगर बोलेंगे आर्ने स्लॉट एंड मो सलाह पे तो क्या बोलेंगे लाइक योर पर्सपेक्टिव फ्रॉम अ थर्ड पार्टी और थर्ड व्यूअर.
Yeah, like you said, I was pretty disappointed to hear that from Mo Salah, because I always thought of him as quite a humble character and model professional. But yeah, like you can't say that just you being thrown under the bus, and in the same sentence he says that he doesn't think that he deserves a starting place on merit, but then he also says he does. So it's like, no, like, I don't think any player should be just put on the team sheet just because of his name and his what he's done in the past. It's what can you do for me right now. So I am yeah, very disappointed in him. But I hope that you guys can actually mend things. But I guess it must be point of no return now with Slot and Salah.
Yeah,
Usually you would pick the player over the manager because it's easier to replace. So
true.
I can see that that's how it's going to end, unless he leaves in January, which it also sounded
Uh,
like he
so there've
do.
been two tweets coming in from Indy, the infamous Indy Kaida.
By the way, is that a troll account or is that real? Like, I can't get my head around whether he's a troll or he's
So
actually a.
I think it's one of the undercover journos who's set this account up. They get legitimate stuff
Okay.
from a source in the club, but at the same time, they do troll a lot too, you know. So it's basically an anonymous account just to like taking the piss out of people at the same time giving statistically the right information out there. Indikaida 2 years ago, maybe you would have argued that he wasn't that legitimate, but now in the last 2 years, he's come out with the Isak transfer, the Wits transfer, the Arne slot um, conversations
Fair enough.
about him getting the sack, the boardroom meeting, uh, yada yada. I think it all came from him. And even this information, like two tweets in the past 24 hours, that Salah's camp is pushing out for a transfer in the Jan window. And most likely there were links coming in from MLS. You'd be shocked to know. MLS. Yeah, because they have a couple of Egyptian owners, and Salah has a
Oh,
good relationship with them. But I don't see Salah going to MLS because he still has 1 year to run his contract down. So I think Liverpool would offload him to the Saudi, and I think the conversations are going to be around Saudi because I think even Mo Salah would like to go to a club where he's paid a lot. In my
yeah,
opinion,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
I think it
money
just
is
makes
obviously
sense.
yeah. I think money is obviously the trigger here, but Arne Slot too. Like the fan base is divided with the Arne Slot because we all know that tactically he hasn't done a good job. 21, we've lost 21 fixtures in 2025.
Oh,
Imagine, yeah. 21 fixtures. That's more than what Ruben Amorim has lost with Man United.
no way! I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Um, uh, we have 10 minutes. So there are a couple of comments that I wanted to address.
Yeah, yeah, I got some
Yeah.
time.
We need a bit. We need to be a bit more brave in take-ons and tackles. Our CVs should face towards the opposition teams rather than dodging or covering themselves. Other than this, we were okay, but we still need wingers. Yeah, we need wingers. I think Mo Salah and Gakpo don't make the cut. Um, I mean, I've been seeing Salah underperforming since the last 11 months, and people have been talking to me about how he won us the Premier League. Uh, Sharma ji, can you equate this with Mo Salah's performance in the past 11 months? He won us the Premier League, I get it, because of how he performed, overperformed, and it was tremendous to watch him. He's a legend of the club. Everyone recognizes that. But at the same time, how do you equate winning a trophy is equal to a player coming out to the press and sharing their dirty laundry. How do you equate that? Like, it doesn't make any sense, to be honest. Like, in hindsight, it doesn't.
No, no. It's one of those like contract year performances. It's always one of those discussions, isn't it? It's when the player's in the contract year, he's always going to overperform. He's always playing like his life depends on it because it's his next big payday.
Yeah, one of those things. And then I think coupled it also, we need to, sorry, we had a good game working, amazing work rate by everyone, especially Sobo, Jones, and Ekitike. And the level of exaggeration, we are taking pride in it because we've been shit this season, honestly. And
Basics.
yeah, we've been crap. Okay, so this game is the turning point for us. We're like, okay, we go again. Aston Villa, Madrid, Arsenal. Imagine the bigs. And we lost to some of the crappiest teams in the league, right? Nottingham Forest. Imagine they're 17th in the league right now. But you watch the Premier League, right?
Yeah. That's the two leagues I watch is Serie A and Premier League. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nuno, I think Nuno was doing a terrific job with them, and then came in Ange, and now Sean Dyche is still hovering those same similar spaces. But three managers within 6 months is a bit torrid, in my opinion. Personally, I don't think Salah leaves, and this was an inelegant way to get Slot to pick him. I think any manager would have done this, to be honest. I mean, this required a reaction of sorts, and even Alisson and Van Dijk agree with that.
Yeah.
Don't think Inter get top eight now. Um, Dortmund away and us gonna be tough for him. Dortmund's gonna be easy for you, I think.
No, but it's at their home, so that, and we don't really have a good record against German teams outside of Bayern Munich, so it is going to be tough.
Schlotterbeck. I think Schlotterbeck is one of the most overrated defenders of all time, to be honest.
Oh, I agree with you, bro. I agree.
I think the mobility is questionable. Of course, his ball supply and everything is good. The left foot is okay. But some of the defenders are hyped to the next level. And then, I don't know, I just feel like it's just a bit too much. Watching Murillo and Milenkovic play with Nottingham Forest, I'm like, this is what a defensive regimen, a pairing should be like, cat and dog. You can't really have an individual um, being spoken in those lengths. And I'll give you another example about Tarkovsky. I don't know if you followed James Tarkovsky, Everton Burnley
Yep.
defender. Rock solid. Has unspoken of since the last 6-7 years, and he's been one of the best defenders in the world. Right? Imagine. So it's just the PR. The PR works for anyone in this industry.
Mhm.
Personally, I don't think Salah leaves. Uh, hey Rishi, hey Devi, why Slot is not giving time to Rio? Rio and Gumoha, um, I don't know. See, Slot isn't giving time to Chiesa. Slot isn't giving time to Ngumoha. Slot is giving time to Gakpo. There was a meme which came out. Slot's best classic 11. There's Pele, Maradona, there's Huntela, and there's Gakpo on the left. So he can keep playing him as much as he wants to, as long as we have winning fixtures. I don't care. But on that note, I think we let Unk take a leave, and we'll bother him again maybe sometime soon when we really want to talk about Inter, or if he's interested in doing a preview with us on a panel show. It'll be tremendous to have him. We usually have these preview shows which have a lot of controversial hot takes, and people go ballistic over one another. They're like literally not the most ideal situation, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds
but
fun. Sounds fun.
but big up to him, right? भाई सब्सक्राइब ठोको यार, जाओ अंकुर शर्मा के चैनल पे सब्सक्राइब का बटन ठोको, ठीक है? वीडियो लाइक करो यार. Uncle
I
looks
like
like
that.
Curtis Jones. Oh god. Upamecano is the
Subscribe,
most overrated.
Hugo. I know
Nah,
you
nah, nah,
start
nah.
using that on my channel now.
Yeah. Um, Upamecano is the most overrated. Nah, I disagree completely. I think he's one of the most
Yeah, I
underrated
feel like it
defenders
gets
now.
over clown now. It's kind of got to the opposite end of the spectrum with him.
Yeah. Initially, 4 5 years, he was a bit. I think he was a bit on the edge. Have you seen Rudiger play? Like in Chelsea, Rudiger had a tendency to go in the left mid spaces and then just keep attacking. And then he used to hurry back when they used to get hit on a transition, right? Similar to him, Upamecano has a tendency of going ahead on a high line, and then he has conceded tons of goals that way. And now I think he's brought in that maturity. I think even Company has improved his game. One thing which I really like over Bayern right now, I think they've improved Upamecano's game, and even the attacking influence looks on a different level. Um, Salah D Riders, huh? Salah D Riders. Oh, Salah D. Oh, bro, come on, don't do this crap. Don't do this, bro. यहाँ मत कर यार. But ठीक है भाई, चलते हैं, मिलते हैं. I think we are done. Like I say, please like, subscribe, and do hype the video once it's over.
Thank you for having me on.